Hi comrades, yours KVS. The next class for the postal assistant examination is going to be presented in this episode. Please go through the video minutely again and again and prepare yourself for the examination in a neat and effective manner.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the PO Guide examination session. And in this session, we are going to discuss about the packing procedures which has been prescribed in our Post Office PO Guide Part 1. And in the previous session, we have covered up to the taxation, and now we'll look up about the packing procedures. So there are packing general procedures and also some special procedure for each and every kind of articles. So first we'll begin with the general packing procedures. Always, whenever a customer packs an article, whenever he makes it ready for booking the same, always packing should be made in a strong case wrapper. It should be strong and stout in order to preserve the contents from any loss or damage and to prevent any tampering and also to protect other postal articles from being damaged. So care must be taken that packing should be made in a strong case wrapper and to preserve the contents from any loss or damage. And if the material contains any cloth or any woolen material, it must be packed in a strong wrapper with an outer covering of any stout cardboard or a cloth. So any cloth or woolen material in a strong wrapper with a stout cardboard or a cloth. And parcel which has been wrapped in cloth should invariably be packed. Once again, it should be packed either in a carton box or to be covered with a paper or a plastic wrapper so that the barcode sticker can be affixed in the parcel and it will not fall off. So care must be taken in case of cloth packing. One more cover has to be made with either a cotton box or with a plastic or paper material so that we can affix barcode, firmly affix barcode, and we can book the article. So this is what packing. And one more thing, the containing any document, any articles containing great value articles of value high like gold or bullions or jewelries or any valuable articles must be placed in a metal container or a wooden or a strong and stout cardboard case. So valuable care must be taken to pack such valuable articles. So it must be packed in a metal container or a wooden container or a stout and cardboard case. And then liquids and substances which are likely to liquefy easily. It must be dispatched in a double receptacle. Double receptacle means there should be two containers, one over the another. So liquids and which are the substances which can liquefy easily. It must be dispatched in a double receptacle, that is two layer of boxes. So between the first and the second container, there should be some space must be left, and that space should be filled with any sawdust or bran or some other absorbing material in sufficient quantity in order to absorb all the liquid contents in the event of breakage. So even if the liquid in the inner container breaks, the sawdust or the cotton which has been the absorbing material which has been filled in the center will absorb all the material so that no leakage will be there and there will be no harm or damage to any other postal articles. So this is the concept. So any kind of liquid should be packed in a double receptacle. And then what about live bees? Live bees, if any, to be transmitted by post, it must be enclosed in suitable cases and it should be packed in such a way as to prevent all the risk of injury to any other postal articles or to the postal officials. So live bees must be enclosed in cases to prevent all the injury and to the postal officials too. So in such case, it should be packed, the live bees. Now we'll discuss about from case to case. So how to pack any human or other viscera? Human or other viscera means any part of a human body can be packed and sent for chemical analysis. In such case, how the packing should be done? So generally, this human parts will be transmitted over post for any chemical analysis by the chemical examiners. So in such way that those substance should be enclosed in a glass bottle or a jar which has been neatly fitted with a topper or a sound cork. So as you can see in this picture, we should enclose the substance in this glass bottle and should be fixed with a tight and stout a cork, sound cork. Then these glass bottle or a jar will then be once again placed in a strong wooden or a tin box, which must be large enough to allow a layer of raw cotton of at least 18 millimeter thick. So the difference, the gap, the space between this inner glass and the outer box should be of minimum 18 millimeters, and this 18 millimeters should be filled with a fine layer of raw cotton which is being placed between the bottle and jar. After this enclosed in the box, it has to be then encased in a cloth which must also be securely closed and sealed. So the seals must be at regular intervals, not exceeding 3 inches along with the seal. So this is the way by which any human parts which can be sent to another place for any chemical analysis. So this is the way. So and also one more point, the seals must be of same kind of wax, and it has to be at any distinct impression. For insurance articles also the same rule. So all the seals which has been affixed should be there with a distinct impression of their kind, of the same device. So this is how to pack a human parts. And then the next packing procedure is of how to pack a plague culture and anthrax spore vaccine. So generally, in order to for the same chemical analysis, one wants to send the plague culture or any vaccine. It must be securely packed in a hermetically closed. Hermetically means no air should come inside. No, it should be completely vacuum. It should create a complete vacuum and no air can pass through the box. So it should be securely packed in a airtight. Hermetically means an airtight closed tin, which must be placed in a strong box of wood with a layer of at least 18 millimeters of raw cotton wool between the inner and the outer receptacle. The outer case must once again be enclosed in a stout cloth, which must be securely fastened and sealed and labeled, which can through which you can immediately identify the nature of the contents. So this is what. So generally, the plague culture will be sent by a commissioned medical officer. So that is an assistant surgeon or any practitioner, medical practitioner who is specifically intended and permitted to send such cultures and other articles. That also consigned to any government laboratory or to a person specially permitted to receive such cultures or any other articles. So the sender must present the parcel at the post office accompanied by a declaration to the nature of its contents, and such addressee, it is not addressed to a government laboratory. If it is to be sent to a government laboratory, no issues. So in other cases, a declaration must be accompanied by the medical officer in order to make sure that this is only for the chemical examination. And bottles of anthrax spore vaccine may also be transmitted by post by laboratories, which is specially permitted by central or any state government to dispatch and receive such kind of vaccine alone. So this is the way of how to pack a plague culture or a anthrax spore vaccine. And then how to pack a tuberculosis sputum. So this is the sputum means the sample of any person who has got tuberculosis. So these kind of sputum samples or any other tuberculosis material which has been dedicated and consigned for any government laboratory for chemical analysis can be sent over post. So how to pack this? So any spill-proof glass which cannot spill over. So any airtight spill-proof glass should be taken, made of metal or wax containers, which must be securely packed in once again a tin or wooden box of adequate strength with a layer of raw cotton in between of approximate 3 by 4 inch thickness between the two containers. Then the box should be properly sealed. And then this box should be encased in a stout cloth, which should be properly closed, sealed, and labeled with a clear distinguish with the contents like that. This is a tuberculosis sputum, and it should be handled with care. So, how to pack a tuberculosis sputum? It has be one container, one glass or metal or container, and once again it should be enclosed in a wooden box, and in between there should be 3 by 4 inch thickness, and that there will be a raw cotton wood inside. And then how to pack a strong smelling articles. So generally any strong smelling articles like asafoetida, it must be enclosed in a hermetically sealed case, that is air-proof container of any tin or any other material. So this is the way to pack a strong smelling articles. And then the celluloid. Celluloid is a chemical. This is a chemical using which we can which has been used for various purposes. So generally in older days, these celluloids were being used in order to make movie films. So these celluloid, why this proper care should be taken for celluloid is that these celluloid will get fire. It will get in. This is inflammable when it reaches a particular temperature in room temperature. So these kind of celluloid films should be packed in a double receptacle, as usual, double receptacle. In case of movie films, celluloid films, this should be enclosed in a hermetically sealed box of tin. And in case of celluloid or article which has been wholly or partially of celluloid material, in a box of tin, cardboard, or wood, or anything. And the vacant space between the box and the material should be completely filled in order to prevent any movement. It should not shake at any cost, and also so prevent any kind of movement of the contents. And this box shall once again be wrapped completely with a padding material, with a proper padding material, so in a sufficient quantity, and it should be placed in a wooden box which has been made of wooden planks, so not less than 10 millimeter. And any such intervening space, it should be completely filled with additional packing and padding material, so as to hold the inner receptacle tightly in position. It should not move anyway, and also to prevent any rattle. So these films must be first filled in a box, and then once again another receptacle filled with any padding material, so it should not shake or move or anything else. So this is the way to pack a celluloid. And the next one is how to pack an osmic acid. Osmic acid is generally used to detect the fatty content in any kind of oil. So this is in chemical, for chemical examination they'll be using. So generally osmic acid will be packed in a hermetically sealed stout glass capsule, which should be a glass capsule. In that osmic acid should be there. It should be there in a hermetically sealed, a strong and stout glass capsule, which should be placed in center of a tin, which is fully filled with sand in such a manner as to leave a layer of sand not less than 4.3 centimeters between the glass capsule and the tin case. So the space between that capsule and any portion, any dimension of that tin case should be of minimum of 4.3 centimeters, fully filled with sand. And the outside of the tin case should be labeled in block red letters with an 1-inch high, like osmic acid, dangerous to handle. And this box should be soldered down and placed in an outer box of wood of reasonable strength with a layer of at least 2.5 centimeters of raw cotton wool between the inner tin case and the outer wooden box. So a tin case, inside that sand will be there, a glass capsule will be there, and outside receptacle is full of wood, and the difference between these two will be 2.5 centimeters of raw cotton wool between the inner and the outer wooden box. So even due care were being taken for this transmission of these kind of osmic acid. The quantity of acid enclosed in the capsule must not exceed 2 grams, and not more than 1 capsule should be included in a parcel. So for a parcel, only 1 capsule. Even inside that, only 2 grams of osmic acid is allowed to be transmitted through post. So for this, these care should be taken for osmic acid. And in case of perfumes, a flash point of 35.6 degrees Celsius or 96 degree Fahrenheit or below, and the greatest strength of more than 60 degree under pressure may be transmitted by inland post, subject to following conditions. So perfumes which have the following flash point and under pressure, the point may be transmitted, but also subject to the following conditions. The perfume should be filled in a clear glass bottle, which should be plugged in capsule, and the glass bottle should then be packed in a cardboard box with a proper cushion inside, because it should not move either way. It should not move and rattle, and it should not get damaged. And then after, it should be filled in a glass bottle which should be plugged in capsule. The glass bottle should be packed in a cardboard box with a proper cushion inside. Outside the wooden box, there should be a clear label in red letters like perfumes and also to keep away from fire. So these are all the packing procedures which needs to be definitely maintained for proper packing procedure for each and every kind of articles. So now we are going to look about one another important topic, that is in PO Guide Part 1 there is a concept called the official postal articles. So what are these official postal articles? What are these service articles? So whenever an article bears a superscription OIGS or on Indian service OIS, so with a service postage, those articles are called as official postal articles. So this superscription must be supported by a signature. These kind of official postal articles must be supported definitely by a signature and the official designation in the lower left hand corner. So in the sender address part, there should be a signature and the official designation in the lower left hand side corner. And no official can claim the recognition of an abbreviation, the rule being that designation shall be entered in full. So full designation must be entered, and office files containing any office notes and any official orders or draft letters or fair copies can be exchanged in between the government offices that may be sent by post as letters, packets or parcels. So the postmasters, apart from signature and the designation, the postmaster may even recognize the any facsimile impressions of signatures made by any means of stamps. And any public officers who use such stamps must make prior arrangements for their proper custody and use. So because nobody should misuse those seals for official articles. So where there is any reason to suspect that there is any suspicious reason for any misuse of any stamp, the postmasters may decline to recognize those stamp facsimile impression. And printed names will not be recognized as signatures. So definitely there should be signature or any facsimile impression should be there. And service stamps, if any, affixed impressions of stamping machine which does not bear the prescribed superscription supported by the signature and the official designation of the sender will not be recognized as official postal articles. So I repeat this one very important point. Service stamp, even though if the service stamp affixed impressions of a stamping machine which does not bear the superscription as OIGS or OIS supported by the signature and the official designation of the sender will not be recognized as official postal articles. So what is the taxation for such officially? We have already discussed in this taxation, but once again we'll see what is the unpaid and how to treat the unpaid and insufficiently paid officially postal articles. So when the postage is not prepaid or it's insufficiently paid, so once it is an unpaid postcard or letter or card or letter or packet, once if it is unpaid, then the postage, the actual postage, not in double the postage, only single postage. On any insufficiently paid postcard or letter or packet, the single deficiency, one deficiency should be collected on such upon such articles. So the prepayment of postage on parcels is absolutely compulsory. So prepayment of postage should be compulsorily. So if it is a card or letter or packet, if it is unpaid, the postage should be obtained, or insufficiently paid, single deficiency. Prepayment of postage on parcels are absolutely compulsory. And who are all the officials entitled to use service stamps? So the officials, those who are eligible to use these kind of stamps will be approved by the concerned department. The department concerned will approve the officials, those who are entitled to use such service stamps. And the articles posted meant only for the government purpose, and it should be meant only for government officials or officers and not for any personal use. So these kind of articles will serve the purpose of only government purpose, and it should mean only for the government officers or officials. And then there is another concept called the local fund officials. So any correspondence sent by an officer of a local authority, those who are in local authority, or by an officer of a government acting in a capacity connected with the local authority. So he will be performing the capacity with the local authority. such as any president or secretary of a local fund committee, is not a deemed official within the meaning of these rules and may not superscribe as on India. He cannot use such on India government service. But nothing in this clause is held to prevent the transmission on India government service of correspondent sent by an officer of a government acting as such, although a correspondence may relate to the affairs of a local authority. So that local fund official should not use that designation, but the official who is performing such capacity, so he may correspond the same to that local authority. So this is what explained in this local fund officials. So what is the next? What is the procedure if ordinary stamps are used for service stamps? This is very important point. So this question has been asked in many question papers. Whenever an ordinary postage stamp is used instead of a service stamp on an official postal articles, the article will be recognized. It will not be detained. It will not be rejected. It will be recognized. Definitely, it will be recognized. So, in the absence of service stamps, if one government office is pasting any ordinary postage stamp instead of a service stamp, it will be recognized. So, these kind of irregularity will be brought by the office in charge of the post office to the concerned department. So if it is habitual, we have to ask them. But if in some cases, even in case ordinary stamps are affixed, we will definitely recognize it as an official postal articles unless and until all other conditions satisfy the purpose. And one another important point: the letter from government offices to a private person and vice versa. So if a government article is addressed to a private individuals or any other association, will be sent as official postal articles prepaid in a usual way. But as I already told, prepayment of postage and parcels is very compulsory. It is absolutely compulsory. So even a government officer can address an official postal article to any private individuals or any association on official capacity, and it can be recognized as an official postal articles. And one last point, postage due articles. The amount of postage which has been marked due on postal articles with a superscription or service unpaid or on India government service or on service will be initial by the postmaster. So whenever any alteration is necessary in the amount will be written in words and attested by the postmaster in full. So the officers of government are bound to receive and to pay any due postage posted under the above superscription bearing the signature in full of the sender. So service stamps will not be accepted in payment of postage due. So service stamp is generally used only for postage and not for the payment of dues. So this is very important. Service stamps can be used for only for the first time postage. But in case of any insufficiently paid or unpaid articles, the due amount should be paid only in cash and not through service stamps. So service stamps will not be accepted at any cost in payment of postage due on such kind of articles. So with this official postal articles, we can end up this session, and we have one last session describing about the scam articles and the financial products, and we'll see in the next session. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Comrades, I hope you would have enjoyed this program. What are all the organization and what are all the rulings provided in the guide? You have gone through everything. Please go through once again. It is in the YouTube channel only, Yours KVS YouTube channel only. You can go through once again. You read well again and again so that everything you can grasp very easily and you can write the examination very effectively. Please don't forget to subscribe the YouTube channel Yours KVS. If you subscribe this channel, naturally you will get the notification as and when we are making the posting, fresh posting, not only for the classes but also the latest developments taken place in the department and also the orders and everything. You will definitely be benefited, and so don't fail to subscribe the YouTube channel. With this we are concluding. We will see again. Thank you very much. Meet again, comrades. Yours KVS.